Welcome everybody to this exhibition. This exhibition is entitled, In the Palm of Your Hand, Miniatures in Chinese History and Others. A miniature, which means you can find another life-size object, which is this normal size, bigger one in other occasions. And the making of miniatures here, which was believed to be quite mysterious. Some can be used as burial items, devotional objects, and even the toys and collectible items for the literati. And this exhibition here, we have displayed 130 objects covering different periods of Chinese history. Some of the pottery items made during the Neolithic period, that is 4,000 years ago, along the Wanghe Yellow River. People actually living in 4,000 years ago just used the clay along the coastal area of Wanghe Yellow River, and make such kind of pottery. And they put the clay, make the shape, and then fire it under 800 to 1,000 degrees Celsius in their kiln. A kiln, which means this was the workshop made by our ancestors during that time. And apart from the pottery in the northern region near Wanghe Yellow River, we have some hard stoneware pottery in the southern part of China near the Yangtze River. Around the region, Nanjing, at the present day Nanjing, Hangzhou, as well as the Zhejiang, in the Zhejiang and Jiangsu province, respectively. These are the two miniatures which was made for the burial purpose. It's difficult to use in such small size, but it was used as the burial items which was devoted to their ancestors in Warring States period in 5th to 4th century BC. And here in the central, we can see 3 miniature bronze bells. The bronze bells was actually a smaller reproduction of a bigger ritual musical instrument. Yeah, this item was made because it used to be hung on the neck of some horses, which was exclusively used by the noblemen in Warring States to Han period, in 3rd to 2nd century BC. Yeah. And at that time, bronze was quite popular around all over the China, all over the present day China. But at that time, we have China was separated into different smaller states. That's why we call warring states, is because they were at war, and at a large scale war. And during that time, till Han Dynasty, people tried to use black pottery, stoneware, which has a higher firing temperature, and also the density of making stoneware is quite similar to the present day porcelain, rather than pottery, which has a lower firing temperature and lower density. In front of us is 3 small items made along the Yangtze River during late Warring States to Han Dynasty in 3rd century BC. There was the 3 miniature toys during that time, I think. And when we see such kind of things made by our ancestors, made by the people in the Warring States period, one may know, oh, China has a long historical heritage. And till Yuan dynasty, the Mongolian people, as well as the Han Chinese, both of them love studying Chinese history, actually. And they make similar products to imitate the antiques in Warring States period, which can be seen as a black pottery garlic-shaped jar. It was actually the shape, exactly the shape what we can find in the Han Dynasty product. But it is actually not from Han Dynasty, it is from Yuan Dynasty, which was made in the 14th century, in the northern part of China. It was believed to be excavated in Shanxi province, the province which Xi'an, the ancient city, belongs to. That's why you can see China has a very long historical value, very good historical value, and a very long historical heritage. And during the Warring States, spring and autumn and Warring States period, in the other parts of the world, just like Egypt, we have pharaohs in the Pharaoh Wang in their country, and they often, and Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, as well as some noblemen, many of the noblemen just use their pottery, glazed pottery, which they call faience, is a kind of green glazed pottery, to make their small burial things. Here are the 3 small burial things, faience, small burial things, which we call amulets. Amulets is a term, 五山符. Amulets is a term which described this object to use as a symbol, as a thing to bury along with the mummy, to protect the body. In the middle, the amulets, which we call the god of fertility. In Egyptian words, Min, M-I-N. Min means the god of fertility, which can protect the body from starvation. And here we have a Western faced Romano-Egyptian oil lamp. It was made when Julius Caesar conquered Egypt in 1st century BC. You can see the face here was not actually wasn't look like an Egyptian. It looks like a European. That's why you can refer to the old lamp. You can see the face of a European. It is actually a cultural exchange between Europe and Egypt. And the second case, in the second case, we have some mythical animals. Just like dragon, it is an imaginative animal. For this one, we call it as Tao Tie. Tao Tie means it is a mixture of different animals which found a new creature. The Tao Tie was was invented by the people living in the Shang dynasty, Shangqiu, in the 17th century to 18th century, 17th century BC. These kind of things symbolize the nobleman during that time, which can control the living of the people. As Taotia is a symbol of a greedy animal. It's a greedy animal. They eat many different animals. They ate lots of meat. They ate a lot of food. That's why people use this kind of animal to describe themselves. Oh, I can control the people ruled by us. Yeah. And the design of the Taotia become more simple in Han Dynasty under massive production. Yeah, under the massive production. And we have in Han Dynasty, apart from Taotia, we have some horse and some gold ornaments. You can see the gold ornaments, the people, they carve on the human face, they carve on the gold ornament, shows a pair of big eyes. A big eyes means they can be from the nomadic tribes, yeah, in the northern part of China. It is not a traditional face of being a Han Chinese. Yeah. And apart from that, in Northern Dynasty, that is the 4th to 6th century AD, the northern part of China was ruled by the Xianbei, the Northern Wei dynasty. The Xianbei tribes, or the Northern dynasty, just absorbed so many different traditions transferred from India or Han Chinese, which they transform the Taotia logo into a lion logo. Yeah, people during that time, I believe, didn't have the experience to see a real lion. They just know lion just because they read some pictures. They saw some pictures that brought by the monks from the Indian region. That's why they use their imagination to make this kind of lion ornaments. Yeah. And you can see in ancient China, different culture forms a very meaningful dialogues. Yeah, through observing these kind of miniatures, you can tell ourselves, you can tell yourself, oh, this is very fruitful in studying the cultural dialogues in our ancient times. Let's go to some other cabinets. We can move on to this case. This is a group of pigs, which is very realistic, and this was made in Western Han Dynasty, at least 2,000 years ago, and these kind of things were obviously burial items that were buried along with the dead body of a nobleman. People during that time believed that when we bury the sculptures or the figures of different animals along with the body, then the soul of the body can eat them, and they can be served as pork or even some other gracious dishes, delicious dishes. Yeah, for them to enjoy in the underground world. Yeah, and apart from the pottery, after Han Dynasty, the Chinese was very clever that they invented the first version of porcelain, a very high fire stoneware in the Qing Dynasty in 3rd to 4th century AD in the region along the lower part of Yangtze River, and in the middle of this, you can see there's two miniatures from Yue Yao. The term yue is to describe the word yue, which means this is the thing that was produced in the region around Jiangsu and Zhejiang province. Have you heard of Vietnam in the Chinese Vietnam? Vietnam means the region which is located on the southern part of your region, which is called Vietnam, the present day Vietnam. And this one was made in Yue Di, and this is what we call Celadon. Celadon means the people use green glaze, transparent green glaze, to glaze on to put on the body of the vessels during that time. And these two items was one of the finest items which was produced by the factory, by the kiln in your place. And in the lower part we have the slightly earlier version of Yue Yao, which was produced in the Western Qing dynasty. That one I mentioned, that one I introduced just a minute ago was was made in Tang dynasty, and these 4 items was made in the Qing dynasty, which was 200 years earlier than these 2 one. Yep. Which you will know the heritage and the relations between these 2 items within the same group. And after I mentioned the southern part of Yue Yao manufacture, we have a northern part. This is Yaozhou ware. Yaozhou is located in the northern part, in the north part of Xi'an, just in the Shanxi province. And these kind of things was very famous in the late Tang and early Northern Song period in the 10th century AD, which was the making of it was believed to be inspired by the Yue Yao massive manufacturing industry. Yeah, this item was deeply inspired by these kind of things. You will see the Celadon can be not only did the Celadon made in the southern part of China, but also they were made in the northern part of China. Yeah. And when we talk about one belt one, the model of one belt one road, one you will know is a Silk Road. The Silk Road in normal sense, you can refer to the northwestern part of or the northwestern part of China. And actually, the Silk Road region was start from Luoyang, Xi'an, and then Xinjiang province, and the West Kazakhstan, Iran, Iraq, to Europe, to the Roman Empire, Eastern Roman Empire. That's why the Silk Road could connect Europe and China 1,000 years ago. And this kind of things was made in under the influence of Western culture during Sui and Tang dynasty. And these kind of things was the sources of inspiration. These were the glass items made in the 1st to 4th century AD in the Roman Empire. in the Roman Empire. And it was believed that these kind of things, people, the merchant during that time brought these kind of glasses from Roman Empire to the Chinese region. And then people, the potters, was inspired by the design and then make the things in ceramics under the influence of the design, glass design. Yeah. And this is number 34, the blue glass small pot was very special of its size. It is in perfect condition. And I acquired it from London, and it was believed that this kind of thing was called which was called a tear bottle, carrying perfume to carrying perfume for the noble women in the 1st to 2nd century AD in the Roman Empire. Actually, it was found maybe a few decades ago in the northern part of Italy. Whereas the 3 glasses here were believed to be found in the Middle East, Palestine region, near Israel. And these 3 glasses were found there, which means they were made by the craftsmen in the Middle East. During that time, Middle East was a part of the big Roman Empire. Yeah. And here in the middle, we have the pottery in the Western style, which a similar product can be found in the Tang Dynasty cultural relics. This is a pottery item made by the Greek manufacturer in the 4th century BC, more than 2,300 years ago. And you can see a meaningful dialogue can be grabbed by us if we study the whole picture of Chinese miniatures, and which can also be inspired, the making of Chinese pottery, which can also be inspired by the Tang San Cai, the tricolor glazed pottery under low firing temperature in this around this area in the northern part of China. And also the making of glazed pottery in Tang Dynasty had a very great influence to some other dynasties throughout the Chinese history, such as the Qing dynasty, found by the Georgian tribes, Georgian tribes, and also Liao dynasty, Khitan, as well as Ming dynasty, the Han Chinese. All the dynasty following Tang dynasty were deeply inspired by the Greek glazed pottery manufacturing. Yeah. And therefore, apart from that, we can move on to this case. This case is very special, actually. I intended to put all the figures from Song Dynasty in this in the same level. Yeah, these kind of things was made just because these are the devotional items. When people want to have a happy marriage or want to get a born a child, safety in the near future, they will simply make this kind of childish figure and then bury it in the underground. Bury it underground, and then they would pray in front of a temple, and they made a wish. That's why a number of these kind of a number of figurines were discovered in the northern part of China, just because of their Greek tradition. Yeah, you can see a baby holding a lotus. Actually, some people told me it is actually not a baby. How come it is quite mature, the face, you know? But it is actually a baby, and it was buried in the northern part of China, following the people's beliefs, religious belief to get a child. Yeah. Also, we have the Song dynasty. We have the first version of a Lo Han sitting on a tiger. In Chinese, for Fu Lo Han. A Lo Han sitting on a tiger. I believe this thing was the first version of the Lo Han sitting on the tiger. It was made in the 11th to 12th century. Yeah. It is made of a high fire pottery. And besides the religious affairs, when we talk about the religion in China, we can't ignore the importance of Buddhism influence. This is a miniature monk, believed to be one of the famous disciples, Anand, of Shikamauli, the Anand. Anand was one of the important disciples, and it was made as a miniature, a gilt bronze miniature by the people by the noble living in the early Tang dynasty in early 7th century. It was made just because people use it and pack it along with themselves, and then when they got travel, when they were traveling, they can bring it out for worshiping. Yeah, for easy for carrying, and made a prayer during their travel. Yeah, in Tang Dynasty, in the southern part of region, as we talk about the Silk Road, also we have maritime trade route. I dare not to use the word maritime Silk Road, just because silk was actually maybe not an important product in the maritime trade. Yeah, that's why I say maritime trade route. In maritime trade route, what kind of things was the main commodities for exchange or for trading? There were ceramics, mainly from the Changsha kiln, Changsha ware. The Changsha was located in the Hunan province, which is now the main city of Hunan province. In Tang Dynasty, Changsha was famous for manufacturing ceramics, which was used for maritime trading purpose. And you can also refer, when I talk about Changsha ware, you can refer to the Asian Civilizations Museum, ACM, in Singapore. They just did a renovation and put all the Changsha ware they purchased from Jakarta. The Jakarta government of Indonesia purchased a very, very massive Changsha shipwreck called Belitung shipwreck. And then as the Singaporean government would like to boost the tourism, that's why they purchased a massive collection from the Indonesian government, and then set up an Asian Civilizations Museum, set up a new room to demonstrate these kind of things. Also, apart from Tang Dynasty, in Song Dynasty, there's a number of kiln sites which were highly developed in different parts of China, such as in the northern part with Chuzhou ware. Chuzhou ware is located Qijiaoyu, which was located in the present day Hebei, Henan, Shanxi, 4 provinces. And then we have Junware, Guanyu, which was a famous famous kiln sites in Song Dynasty. Junware was made in a blue glaze, but actually it was not the material they used was blue. It was only the optical effect, the reflection of light. So this is the scientific knowledge of our ancestors. And in the southern part of China, we have a Qing glaze, invented by the craftsmen in Jingdezhan. You know, Jingdezhan, the word Jingde was actually the emperor's name, the name of the emperor in northern Song Dynasty. I think the third emperor, Qing Hoàng Đại, Qing. Since the Jingde emperor ruled China in northern Song Dynasty during the early 11th century, people believed that these kind of things they developed a very massive and very fine quality of porcelains in Jingdezhan. That's why the region used the emperor's name to commemorate their successful industry. And apart from the daily utensils, we have some other toys, such as the dice and just like a marble ball, but actually it was made in stoneware. People use these kind of toys for leisure games, as well as for burial purpose, like the basket. It is not a basket for using, just because it is it doesn't got a space to carry something. Yeah, it is used for the burial purpose. Just imitates what we can see. Yeah, and two mirrors, which I believe also for burial purpose, just because the ancient Chinese had a tradition in burying mirrors along with the dead body. You know why? Just because mirror can do the light reflection, and so they can reflect the light and show the soul the correct way to the world of underground. Yeah, this is the main purpose of burying mirrors. And similar traditions can be found in the Southeast Asia. The Southeast Asian during that time, during the 11th to 15th century, also wants to bury a mirror along with the dead body for their similar purpose. These kind of tombs, a mirror tombs, can also be found in Japan. Yeah, Japan has a very long history of burying mirrors, yeah, and very excessive. Yeah, they bury for one dead body. They even buried over 50 mirrors, 50 to 100 mirrors. Yeah, they use mirrors, the number of mirrors to evaluate the social status of the dead body. And now we have different kind of ceramics. But being a Chinese, I'm quite proud of being a Chinese, just because Chinese was the China is the first country which invented porcelain in Tang Dynasty in the 7th century. Yeah, we can see there are different porcelain. White porcelain in a modern sense, right? White porcelain, which was made by our ancestors for 1,300 years ago, and in the northern part of China. And if you ask me, what is the finest type of white porcelain during that time, that I suggest, there are two famous kiln sites. One is xiao. Xiao means Yangyou, which was located in the northern region of Hebei province, the southern part of Beijing. The other one is also located in the Hebei province. That is a Dingyao. Dingyao is also located in the Qiyang region, Kukyang Qiyang region, and Dingyao was famous for making white porcelain. It was actually a successor of Xiao. Xiao was very famous in Tang Dynasty, making white glazed porcelain. But Dingyao was very famous for making ivory glazed zhang. Ivory glaze, yellowish ivory glaze porcelain in Song Dynasty. On the left hand side, we have on the left hand side you will see the Xingyao, the miniatures, which is believed this kind of thing, apart from being argued that these kind of things were made for toys of the children. But in my sense, I have consulted a number of experts in miniatures. They told me it was only for the business demonstration. People make these kind of things, the merchant actually, the pottery merchant, they just make these kind of things and show in front of the potential clients and say, oh, which kind of thing you would like me to make. Yeah, this size or that size suitable for you. Yeah, this is a kind of model. Yeah, the ceramic model. Yeah, in a very practical use. Yeah. These three items were the representative items of Dingyao, which was like I mentioned, the successor of the Xinyao in the Song Dynasty. You can refer that it is different. This one is a greenish white glaze, whereas the Dingyao was glazed in a very yellowish ivory glaze. Yeah, and this one is a persimmon glaze, which was very attractive in the northern Song Dynasty. And this one, originally, this vessel was used for carrying wine. And this is the bowl. Actually, this is a two-piece. I put two pieces together. Yeah, people often during that time pour warm water or hot water into the bowl and put the wine with the ewer into the bowl, such as for a warming purpose. Yeah, in the northern part, northern region of China was so cold. Yeah, but people intended to make this in a miniature version, just because they want to change the purpose of the use. The purpose of their use from a wine carrier to the water carrier, which carries water and power into a bowl for washing the ink pen. 洗毛筆啦。The bowl was transformed from a warming bowl to a brush washer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very mystical, I think. And besides Dingyao and Xinyao, in Song Dynasty, Fujian province, the Fujian region, was very famous for drinking tea drinking. But during that time, people used to the tea drinking behavior of China was very impressive. They used tea powder, similar to the Japanese, what we experience when we go to Japan today. The Japanese like drinking green tea. They use the powder the green tea powder, powering the green tea powder into a black bowl and then stir it until there's a bubble. And people used to observe the white bubble with the tea in in a black bowl for easier observing. That's why these kind of Japanese tea drinking behavior was inherited from the Song Dynasty Chinese. Yeah, Japanese is not the original tea drinking culture. It was Song Dynasty. They inherit from the Song Dynasty. You know, the Japanese sent so many monks to study in China during that time. The term 留學生, overseas student, actually was a Japanese. 留學生 itself is a Japanese word, which used to describe the pupils the Japanese people study Chinese, so overseas, over the Japanese sea. Yeah, since Tang Dynasty to Song Dynasty. And the Japanese used the word tenmoku bowls to describe the two Fujian, these three Fujian bowls they found. Tenmoku means 天目碗. Tenmok was a place, actually was a mountain located in the Zhejiang province. And it got a monastery during that time. And so many Japanese monks used to study there and drink tea in the tea ceremony, during their tea ceremony in Tenmok Monastery. Yeah. And they was misled by the place that they found, oh, I drink tea in the Tenmok. That's why this bowl was from Tenmok Monastery, from Zhejiang province. But actually it is not true. They were from Fujian. They transport from Fujian to Zhejiang region, and then have them drunk. And this kind of jar was made in the same kiln site. The same kiln site was located in the Fujian region, what we call Ginyo, Jianyao. Gin means Fujian. In Fujian, in Fujian region, we have a place called Jianyang, Ginyang. Ginyang is a place that make these kind of things. Yeah, that's why Ginyo, Toho Wan, hair first bowl. Hair first means the iron oxide was quite heavy. That under higher firing temperature, they just move from the rim of the bowl to the downside. And you can see the traces of iron oxide in brown color. And they just like a rabbit's fur, a hair first, Toho Wan, an oil spot which was quite admirable, and it was highly appreciated by the tea masters in Japan. And because Genware products was very famous throughout the Song Dynasty Chinese, among the Song Dynasty Chinese. That's why the northern part of China, such as Chuzhou, where Qijiao, the craftsmen began to imitate the Tenmoku manufacturing techniques and reproduce the bowls, which is quite similar to the Fujian ones. Yeah. So the northern part of China was also very famous for making the black glazer vessels. And we have Jizhou kiln. Jizhou is also located near Fujian. It's from Jiangxi. Also under the Genware manufacturing products influence, and the products of Jizhou ware were made for export purpose, and these kind of design inspire the products being made in Thailand during that time. This miniature, the small jar with dots, with a number of brownish dots, was a Thai product made in Swankalok. Swankalok was located in Thailand, which was a very impressive trading center in the maritime trade route. Yeah, in the Yuan to Ming dynasty in 13th to 15th century. Here we come to the last part of our gallery tour. This is the meaningful exchange between China and the Southeast Asian countries through the maritime trade route. In China, a number of Celadon were exported from China, actually from Zhejiang region or some other province such as Guangdong and Fujian. Many of the coastal cities made ceramics and export them to some other countries along the maritime trade route, such as Thailand, Vietnam, and also Burma, or even Indonesia and Philippines. These kind of manufacturing industry and the tradings of the ceramics were very influential, and that can shape the history of Southeast Asian countries. The history of Southeast Asian countries such as Philippines or some other remote areas in Indonesia during that time, before introducing ceramics to them, they just use clay, earthenware. They just use earthenware to carry their things. They didn't have the experience in using even high fire pottery or stoneware, but they got a big steps when Chinese entered this kind of region, from earthenware to directly porcelain. This is a big steps for them. And their politics often change just because the invasion of Chinese and the migration of a number of southern Chinese that changed their culture, that shapes their history in their near future. Zhejiang the Zhejiang province in China had a very famous region called Longchuan. Longchuan was famous for making Celadon Longchuan ware, Longchuan Yu. Longchuan ware was one of the world famous heritage of China, recognized by UNESCO, 聯合國教科文組織, recognized by the UNESCO as a representative ceramic making industry of China. Now, Longchuan was famous for the transparent green glaze objects. Now, you can see there's two fish, what we call twin fish dish. Twin fish dish was very famous for the Longchuan wares, among the Longchuan wares, and many of them have been exported to the Southeast Asian countries because of their lucky purpose. People use two fishes in Chinese in the New Year, 年年有餘. Yeah, there's always the surplus. Always we have surplus in our business. And but even in the Indian region, fish was believed to be a sacred animal, just because it was the transformation of Vishnu. Vishnu was an Indian god. Yeah, Vishnu transformed himself to a fish and rescued the world from heavy flooding. Yeah, according to an Indian myth. That's why twin fish dish was highly admired by the people living around the Southeast Asian or even Indian countries. Countries under Indian region influence, such as Java Empire. During that time, had a very good factory, and the Vietnamese had a very good factory to imitate the taste and the making of Longchuan ware, just like this one from Thailand, Shawankaluk ware, and a Vietnamese, which was discovered in a Honai region, 河內個地區. People use the clay from the Red River to make this kind of Celadon, which is quite similar to the Longchuan origins. And these two seems like a blue and white objects, which were made by the craftsmen in Sawankalok of Thailand. Tells us a lot about the ceramic trading industry along the maritime trade route. These two objects was actually an imitation of the Yuan dynasty blue and white objects, which can be referred to that case. These are the original Yuan dynasty blue and white objects. People during that time was deeply influenced by the Mongolian Empire. The Mongolian Empire conquered China, Central Asia, and the Middle East, and part of Europe, and 70% of Russia, of the present-day Russia. It forms a very big empire ever in the human history. The biggest empire ever in the human history. And just because they control Middle East region, and because the Middle East region was the origin of cobalt blue materials. So the businessman, the merchant from the Middle East region just brought their cobalt blue material from their home countries, from their hometown to Jingdezhen, and asked the craftsmen in Jingdezhen to make this kind of fine Yuan blue and white ceramics. And these kind of things, they can make money through exporting them to the Southeast Asian countries. You know, the small jar, the jarlet, the blue and white jarlet with a chrysanthemum design at the back, was believed to be excavated in Southeast Asia, like Philippines. The local people, the original people living in Philippines often use this kind of thing to carry the bone ashes, the bone ashes, and even they just put some spiritual beings, spiritual symbols inside, and they feed the ghost, 養鬼仔啊，係嘛？they were ignorant, they were superstitious. They try all means to use these kind of things as to practice their religion affairs. Yeah. And this is a very fine blue and white pot with a lotus leaf cover. The Yuan blue and white was famous for its very fine and sharp blue color. And the jar was used in the mainland Chinese, for the mainland Chinese, to carry tea powder or tea leaves, or even some medicine. But different purpose, practical purpose was used in Southeast Asian countries. They were mainly for the religious affairs. Yeah. And we strongly believe that in Vietnam during that time, a number of Persian merchants were the residents in Honai. And then they used the cobalt blue they brought from Middle East. Brought it, apart from China, they brought it to Vietnam and helped the people to fire their blue and white stoneware. That's why these three items were from Vietnam instead of China. You can see the body of these kind of things were not as white as the Chinese ones, just because their geographical limitations. In Vietnam, we can't discover fine porcelain glaze. They could only be found in the Chinese region like Jingdezhan. Yeah, that's why we can see there's a cultural dialogues, and maybe the same group of people just sold the cobalt blue materials to Jingdezhan and then to Vietnam. And last but not the least, we go to Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty, the people during that time was very interested in doing business in the of course doing in very academic works. They would like to do official business. They would like to do official business on behalf of the Ming court with the Southeast Asian countries. That's why these kind of things were made by the command of the Ming court, or some items which were made by the local people and did the trade privately with the Southeast Asian people. But actually, according to the Ming law, it was prohibited. It was illegal. Evidence can be found by looking at this small cup. This is a small cup with the green and red decorations, but the ceramic material of this small cup is not very fine. It was believed to be made in Swatou. Swatou where? Santao, in the northern part of Canton region. Yeah, and this is the evidence showing that these kind of things were made by the local people. And this small bowl, according to the collector whom passed this small cup to me, was actually a Singaporean. He purchased it in Indonesia, and it was believed to be excavated in Indonesia, Jakarta, a few decades ago. And in the middle, we have a lacquer box, a small lacquer box. It was believed to be the smallest one, which was made by the imperial workshop in Ming Dynasty. 明朝宮廷嘅製嘅一個漆器盒。It is nothing related to the maritime trade route. It was only the luxurious products being used by the wives of the emperor. And in Qing Dynasty, Ming and Qing Dynasty, the imperial workshops was highly developed, and they were items were exclusively made for the emperor and also for the noblemen. This is a very small cup made by the very fine Jingdezhan craftsman under the command of a Manchurian nobleman. This is a small cup showing an arrow man just want to kill during his hunting, want to kill a creature. But at the back of the bowl, which can be reflected, he dropped off from the horse. Why? Just because he was not too concentrated. Maybe he was suffering from drinking wine. He was overdrunk. That's why this is actually a wine cup. Inside we have the poet in Tang Dynasty, Li Po. Li Po holding a very, very big pot of wine. From looking at this small wine cup, you can see there's a warning, in a pictorial warning, to to the people who would like to drink more wine. Just like you can see the warning notice in the cigarette cover. Yeah, this is a Qing cigarette cover, wine warning cup. Yeah. And apart from that, we have a blue and white from the Japanese Imperial Court, which looks like a very fine ware. The key point of distinguishing whether it is an Imperial Court product or not depend on, in China, if you see the base of each vessel, which you can see 大清雍正年制、大清光緒年制, there are the marks, 大清光緒年制, the mark, which was exclusively for the imperial purpose. The people were highly forbidden in making such kind of marks. This is a very, very strong evidence to classify whether it is an imperial mark, imperial item. The copper red, the iron red dragon wine cup is a personal belonging of Guangxu Emperor, 光緒王. Because I can see there's a mark, 大清光緒年制, showing me that it was made on the period of Guangxu in late 19th to early 20th century, which was a very fine example of an imperial ware. But in Japanese, there were no mark in the imperial ware. But how to classify it as an imperial product used by the Japanese court? The key point is to see the symbol, chrysanthemum symbol, whether it has a 16 petals in the chrysanthemum symbol. 即係嗰個菊花有冇16個瓣啊？ If there are 16 petals on the chrysanthemum symbol, which means it is exclusively for the emperor. Yeah, and these this pair of dishes, you can count. They have three chrysanthemum symbol, and each of them has 16 petals. Yeah. Chrysanthemum symbol was until now the symbols have been the main logo of the Japanese royal family, just because it is a chrysanthemum dynasty, 菊花王朝, which was being named by the Japanese emperor. And to conclude, I have to explain these keynote miniature items. This is miniature items that signifies our central topic of in the palm of your hand. This is a very rare complete set of miniatures being made in Northern Song dynasty, and many of these the small dishes were used to carry some food materials, some food being served in front of the table of a nobleman, and the small jars and small ewers were used as a water carrier, as a water pot, to pour water into the smaller dishes, and then the smaller dishes may serve as the scholarly items, may serve as the brush washer. So the dish in the central may serve some food in front of a literati, in front of the literati, and the ewer will serve as a water pot to pour water in the smaller dishes, which can be served as a brush washer. And then this fulfills the three functions of miniatures. That is for utensils, for the utensils for daily lives, daily use, for the toys, for the items on the table on the decks of the literati. And I really hope this exhibition will share with you more about the cultural implications of Chinese antiques, the meaningful dialogues between East and the West, and the funny way of studying Chinese history and its artists. Thank you.